Hello everyone, welcome back to another part of the pod. This is Ace Attorney. Last time I let you guys off, we first talked to Zach Gramarai about what he has to say to us about about this case that took place 7 years ago. As we all know, Phoenix Wright's going to lose his badge anyway, so we just got to figure out how he loses it. Court is now back in session.
During a recess, a bullet was found in and dug out from the clown's head.
Well, this is news. In the rifle marks?
There wasn't time to do a detailed analysis, though they did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon.
Well, that's not very conclusive, is it?
Which is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness.
You're a decisive witness? How many times have I heard those words? Though they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think.
Oh, don't worry on my account. I'm quite confident this witness will do the job. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production, being the other half of Trip Gramari's famous duo Zack and Valent.
Valent Gramarai. Yes, you heard it here, folks. Valent Gramarai. Which is probably not as shocking as I thought as it probably is in the end, but you know, it gets the job done. So we get to meet the great Magnifique's other disciple. About his beard.
Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation.
Valent Gramarai, magician. And you're the decisive witness, are you? You could prove your fellow student, your partner's guilt? Fate, the grand illusion, filled with traps and tricks. Well, wait, the shooting took place in the hospital after 11 o'clock at night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there that late? If one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is yes. Okay, I always get the characters, don't I?
I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received this.
That looks very familiar. Wait, that's the same letter Zach Gramarai received. Yes, or perhaps I should say, ta-da! Order, order, order! What does it say? Surely not the same thing.
Perhaps you should see for yourself.
So it's the same thing, but you know, he told him to meet him 15 minutes later. Why, it's practically the same. The court assessed this into evidence. This is most unusual. Exactly what's going on with you folks? What exactly was your trip Grandma up to? By what you mean? I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who could ask the students to kill him. Both of them, no less.
It's just my opinion, Herr Judge. But from these letters, I see he was coercing them, not asking them.
We walked the magician's path together, and in so doing, shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there is a strain, a warping of relations, you might say. Yet this has nothing to do with the case at hand. By which you mean you're not going to tell us. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse. Well, let's get on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zach Gramarai, stands accused. Tell us why. Oh, I'll do more than that. For where he walks, the red roses rise, singing hymns to the miracle that is magic. Fascinating, though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point to you as a suspect. The letter, the murder weapon, and now the two bullets found in the scene. In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time. Ha 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 ha! Ha ha! As every magician knows, timing is everything.
Yes, and now it's time to get this party fired up!
That the crime. Okay, let's listen to him. That night, I visited the hospital room at the time Magnifique requested. The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions, yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss I give to the clown. Then I informed the doctor and the police. So you're the one who reported the crime? Indeed, I would think. This fact alone would clear my name of suspicion. Let's not jump to any conclusions. Yes, the cross-examination generally comes before the conclusions in this court. But if your testimony proves to be true, then the defendant, Zach Gramery, is guilty. And if it wasn't Zach Gramery, then the killer was you, Valent. And no disappearing act would get you out of that. You would think. Now the fourth one, his fourth statement about the deal he gave to the clown, you want to press this statement, because it's very freaking vague. Let's press this. There were 2 bullet holes at the scene, one in the victim and one in the clown. You're saying the one who shot the clown was you? No doubt my partner Zach has said much on the same thing. Yeah, because whoever didn't shoot the clown committed the murder. I'd better dig around here a bit more and see what I can turn up. Mr. Valent, let me ask about something else concerning the crime scene. Namely, I want to ask about the number of pistols, actually. How many pistols were there when you entered the room? By which you mean what, precisely? 2 pistols were used in the Zach and Valent quick draw shooting, correct? 1 for each of you. You are well informed, yet only one of my old friends sat in the hospital room that night. What did Zach tell me back in the lobby? Whoa, that scared me for a minute. Sorry, something from my mic fell. Just ignore me. Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time, and I found there upon the bedside table 2 pistols. I took the pistol I fired and placed it in my pocket. I see no problem with that statement. Only 1 pistol is visible in the photograph of the crime scene, after all. So you picked up that pistol and fired it? Indeed, I did. Alakazam! Alakazing! Alakaboom! Is the number of pistols really so important? It's actually quite important, Your Honor. The number of pistols is quite important, Your Honor. Very well. Please add this date to the testimony. What can I do but obey? You can tell the truth. Only 1 pistol was at the hospital room that night, to which I shot the clown, which is contradicting the pretty much right here. They said this pistol was actually used to shoot the victim. According to the defendant, Zach Gramery, when he entered the room, there were 2 pistols on the table. 2? One of those pistols he used to shoot the clown in the forehead. Then he left with it in his pocket.
Of course this is what he would say. Unlike the hapless clown, we must assume our defendant has some brains in his head.
Well, what about Mr. Valent? What about Mr. Valent? What about what Mr. Valent has told us? You see, there's something about his testimony that doesn't make sense. What might that be? I told you I took the pistol that was there and shot the clown. That's your story, at least. He's sweating. But the rifling marks tell a very different story. Mr. Valent, recall what Prosecutor Gavin told us. I don't think I'm gonna be I'm gonna talk over this because I don't think I'm gonna as with flashbacks I don't tend to do this. This flashback's a whole different story though. Mr. Valent, if you fired this pistol, then you shot the victim in the forehead. Music. Awesome! Can't get enough. Order. Well, this is all rather sudden.
What have I done?
Prosecutor Gavin?
I owe the court an apology. Sorry.
Sorry for what?
You see, I wasn't aware that 2 of these unique pistols were crafted. The analysis of the rifling marks only proved the type of gun that fired them.
But that's not what you told us before. You said you verified the murder weapon.
Which is why I'm apologizing to you now. Quite sincerely, I might add. Would you hold me accountable for a mistake made in my youth?
That was just this morning.
I am still young. And I might add, it wasn't really my fault. If the defendant had only admitted he took the pistol from the scene of the crime, we would not be having this pleasant discussion now.
Violent Grammar? Yes, Your Honor. You were present at this court as a decisive witness, but you've proven more decisive. You've proven to be more divisive than decisive. Oh, great. Court.
You'll see in time. The testimony so far has merely been a review of the facts. The proof comes next.
Care to elaborate, Prosecutor Gavin?
When Mr. Valent entered the hospital room, the victim had already been shot. As his next testimony will prove, her right, the real fight is about to begin.
Bring it. Very well, the witness will not testify to the court. Help us determine who shot what. Who shot what? Best title ever. And I guess we can go on further. I arrived in the hospital room at the appointed time, which is say to 11:20. I discovered the body. I fulfilled my obligation, then called in the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10. And the one in the room at the time was my partner, not me. Those times are rather close, you have to admit. You're talking about an alibi stretched over a matter of minutes. To use the 10-minute discrepancy as a basis of your alibi.
It's easy to explain the situation, Herr Judge. For example, take our debut hit single 13 Years Hard Time for Love. Cue to the song, press the play button and it will play for 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Do it 100 times, the result is the same.
Their debut single was only 2 minutes and 15 seconds long? What a ripoff!
Magic is a world of utmost precision. Hocus pocus requires admirable focus. And in the time of death determined by the doctor, there is an incontrovertible truth.
Very well. The prosecution warns us that we're dealing with rather precise times, and we can expect the cross-examination to require the same level of precision.
I would hope the defense refrains from its customarily broad, sweeping accusations, lest we blur the focus this case so clearly demands.
Point taken. Baseless remarks will result in penalty. Carry on, Mr. Wright. Carry on, Wright. And since we're here at wrapping up points, we're gonna, cross-examine who shot what in the next part of Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Well, cross-examine Violent Grammar 7 years ago. So you guys did. As I point to the screen, and you can't tell.